Hello, I'm Locke Meredith with Legal Lines. I'd like to invite you to join me on the next show. I have Sean Fagan, an attorney here in town, and we're going to talk about the litigation process, what you have to do when you're involved in a collision or injured, what happens when you file a lawsuit and what the steps are, and if you go to trial and you win or you lose, what happens if you take an appeal of that decision or the other side does. So join us on the next Legal Lines with Sean Fagan.
Fast is fun. Fast is knowledge. Fast is possibility. That's why Cox is introducing its fastest high-speed internet ever. Now up to 5 megs. So you can do more on the internet than ever before. Cox high-speed internet is fast. And fast is beautiful.
Welcome to Legal Lines. I'm Locke Meredith. I'm pleased to have on the show today my partner, Sean Fagan. We're going to talk to you about the litigation process. Sean, thanks for being on the show.
Yep.
Let's talk about the litigation process. Let's assume that we've got a serious case, let's say a brain damage case, and we've collected the information, we've communicated with the defendant insurance company, we've gotten all that information, we've tried to present them with reasonable positions to settle. It doesn't settle. Now we kick into the litigation stage because this isn't going to be voluntarily concluded. Let's talk about it.
Well, obviously, what we go through in the first steps of the process is this discovery phase. That's going to assist us in trying to see if we can resolve the case. The discovery is going to involve going through the fact witnesses, people who saw what happened, and then we're going to, if there are medical witnesses involved in a brain injury case, for instance, we'd depose all the doctors, the people who know what happened physically to the plaintiff in this case, and then we'd proceed really after the depositions to present that to the other side, let them analyze the information to see if we can come up with a number that settles the case. Yeah, both sides can agree on.
And if that doesn't work, we go to trial. That's kind of the big picture. Let's chop it down now. First thing we're going to do is file a lawsuit.
That's right.
And that's going to be based on the information that's been collected. Now, we have how long to file a lawsuit?
In Louisiana, if it's a regular injury case, it's going to be basically a year, except for some limited circumstances that would allow it to extend beyond a year. But that's the general rule that we apply.
The general rule is going to be you need to file a lawsuit within 1 year of the accident. Otherwise, you lose your claim.
That's right.
You can't sue anybody. It's over with. So in preparing a lawsuit, we look at what?
Well, we look, number one, to see who the potential defendants are, who's responsible for the accident that happened.
Now, a lot of times that's more than one party.
Yeah, it could be multiple parties, and sometimes it can involve a corporation. So you've got to move from beyond just identifying the driver, let's say, of a 18-wheeler to going to the corporation and making sure that you have the corporation named properly. If you don't name the corporation properly, and more than a year goes past, you could be having problems.
So let's assume an 18-wheeler rear-ended our client and he works for a corporation. So the lawsuit's going to be against the driver of that 18-wheeler and his employer, the corporation in this case. And then also they're going to have an insurance company.
That's correct.
Hopefully.
That's right.
And so you've got at least 3 parties there that you're going to file the lawsuit against. Be the driver of the vehicle, his employer, because they're vicariously liable for his negligent acts, and then their insurance company. Let's say that driver of that 18-wheeler says somebody else pulled in front of him and made him pull over. Well, then that person's going to have to be identified and sued. And if they're not, then what happens?
Well, at that point, what's going to happen is the 18-wheeler driver is going to say, I may be partially at fault, or I'm not at fault at all. It's really the other guy that caused me to swerve. And if we haven't identified